Uncertainty is the absence of coordination, so the more that you know less of, it'll be taxed on the other end as it's falling apart. So what is perfect each time is code if it's executed with no bugs. Packing things inside 1 gallon cannon can make it for the process to be easier, as then it's just one variable instead of 2 different variables. And if you can get 3 variables just as one constant, why wouldn't you perform that in just one execution? So there's less than one iteration because it's already the same thing. If you could do everything that you normally do but in half as much time, just if you stacked it right, why wouldn't you just be packing everything in? A helicopter does that to advance over area. He just compiles it by chopping it quicker so he can accelerate forward faster. So if you could program like one button to press and clip on different things and stack and pack them in others, like bottles and blankets, as you tie the knot at the end so that you can then compile both of them together in 1 gallon cannon, why wouldn't you?
That's why the Green Goblin is so good at making pumpkins bigger and then throwing them when they're on fire. The pumpkin probably followed Pinhead. He probably got that gene and kept making it. So it's actually like Shang Tsung's skull when he throws it. Quan Chi, and it just runs after the person. Same thing, it's just the weight of a pumpkin, but if you touch it, it'll annihilate you. This is kind of called microlinear, where if you had something this size, but it was equivalent, that could be the ring, O-ring, even heavy. You could be getting one piece of it and making a ball, and you can actually make the weight calibrated so accurately to the surface where any indenture in its surface, if it wasn't that same weight, it could get tested for that.
So that's what a Dracula could clear. What would a mermaid cover if she was see, humans, they have Draculas who look like them. If a mermaid or a centaur, a half human, half horse, or there's also a half human, half goat in the Chronicles of Narnia. So that half happened, and the top half of Medusa is snakes on her hair, and that might make so that her rest of the body looks normal. But then as long as that had her top half, which was her head, then she had to stay that way, and that's why she was cursed. And so that is one story. The other one is the mermaid. What if there was a mermaid who survived so long because there was a bad one under the ocean? And we saw that in The Little Mermaid. So that bad one under the ocean, so the bad mermaid under the ocean looks just like the Dracula on land. And my light is often just blinking. So if the thing saw the light on and it was blinking, the thing, if it saw the clown, it was a spider, but then it made a humanoid version of itself to be a clown. And so other than that, the mermaid in The Little Mermaid could be a bad mermaid and look like a Dracula just as easy as we see a Dracula and it looks like a human, other than its canine fangs are long. So the mermaid, they would see nothing wrong other than her bottom tail was black. And so that's kind of what a witch was. And so if the witch was in The Little Mermaid, that same thing would be equal to a Dracula doing what he does, which is bad, as easy as we see a Dracula and it looks like a human, other than its canine fangs are long. So the mermaid, they would see nothing wrong other than her bottom tail was black. And so that's kind of what a witch was. And so if a witch was in The Little Mermaid, that same thing would be equal to a Dracula doing what he does, which is bad, and jump over stuff. The other thing Jesus would have wanted is to be able to run onto things with obstacles for the other course. And so if you had a moment where you could just jump on something and land and be a mile where you wanted to, that would be a teleport. And I think the land could smush and make it available if you had the dimensions correct. Same as if you were walking a different direction, if you were a Dracula up into the opposite of the normal force on the ground. You could save that much if you jumped over it and it covered the entire wall. So with just one jump from a Dracula, if he's going up an entire wall at a 90-degree angle, all you would have to do is just jump 1 foot if he was running fast, and it would clear the entire wall, even if it was anywhere up to 20 feet. That's all he would have to do, was just a hop and a skip over a pond. They say a hop and a skip over the waterway. Instead of if there's less effort, you can photo capture with a data scientist the information on a petal. And if you can grow a petal, you can profit by making a whole bunch of offspring. If you can make a carrot or a piece of corn, just as easy as putting 5 cents into a gumball machine and getting 1 gumball. Could you grow it from a petal or a leaf? Yes. And that's what Jesus would have wanted. So the more that you know objects that are different, then they can be comparative so that they're never displaced. And a thing that is an object that is displaced could be the top of your body from the bottom, and that would be if you were a horse and a normal mammal humanoid, or a mermaid would be half and half, because that can actually happen. And then the only way you would get put back together is with a different animal that wasn't a mammal, like a fish or a horse. What kind of an animal is a horse if its teeth are like a llama's but all messed up? What if it's an object that makes it be bad on a thing that matches it? Then it's just cursed, because that was the last thing you saw before the bad thing happened. It's just really bad when the small thing becomes the thing that is bigger, that ends most things on the land. Anything bad can be part of a smaller issue and be even bigger. I never want to have a gorilla become a zombie and then have that be one that grows wings and is king of the gorilla zombies. The Planet of the Apes had sprung out from that. But what if they grew wings and became super strong, like a zombie, if it was king of the zombies, but it was a gorilla and it had wings? And things that shouldn't be real, like getting bit by mosquitoes continuously until your skin blares up. And that's what the mosquitoes just ate me, and they're poking me in my forehead, so I think I got extra there. And if I'm like a piece of bark that just coming off each time I scratch my cells on top of my epidermis and they don't come back, then that means that they got me that bad. And so things like that shouldn't happen, should be defined really clearly, because we're supposed to be here and not them. It's camouflage, but not for me, buddy boy. Bend the curve the whole time. We need to get back to the point of how sharp the crease was initially, and that's how tightly folded any bad thing could actually be, because that is what it would be resembled before it got taken away. So it's either gone or still here yet, and obviously it's not gone. So whatever bad thing that has been within your constraint, you have to find its origin as the crease, and then you can go forth to take it apart. As my physics teacher said, go forth and conquer. And the pressure from your valves of your heart acting as the engine. But this right here, you want to be breathable with your hands, not to get clammy like you have I can't remember. My best friend and my sister has the condition when your hands are always wet. This is when it's too heavy, so they can't breathe. So this is, which a clot would be, too balled up. So then the offset comes as a switch on the other end, making things not work. And then you overcompensate it by indulging in like carbs to get more energy. I ate a potato the other day and got like super energized, but you can over exaggerate that and use it as this will get people hyped. It is what it can do for you. I thought that this was a great idea, and then if you had a point for every item in the store and it had above all the